Sitting with me today is Mr. Morrill, or Matt Morrill. He's one of my old high school teachers. I was hoping today you could tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to be a school teacher and stuff.
Oh wow, that's like a real question.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
That sounds like one you'd hear from like a real professional of some kind.
Oh, it goes downhill.
Okay, good. I wasn't prepared for like a
You weren't prepared for like a real conversation.
no. I thought maybe we'd just talk about how we hate math and
We could talk about that.
yeah, we definitely could. Well, we could say that for later, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. I guess so. You want to know like how I got into all this?
Yeah. Whatever you want to talk about.
Sure. I was never a great student in high school. I wasn't really good at too much until like probably my sophomore year. I started getting really good at sports. Just kind of grew and got coordinated. All of a sudden, I could walk down the street without tripping over my own 2 feet, and got a scholarship to go to college, and didn't know what to do when I was there, and just basically majored in football, and got done and kind of had that oh crap moment of what am I going to do now, and I think like throughout, like I was a sociology major. I always felt like I wanted to help people somehow, and I didn't know exactly what that looked like, and so I got a job out of like soon after I graduated um, on a wagon train for kids that had been adjudicated, which is just fancy talk for you can go to jail or you can go to this outdoor program. And so these kids chose the outdoor program. And it was basically like full on wagon train. Like we had 9 wagons and 40 mules and 20 horses. And we went from Pennsylvania to Florida and back up to Pennsylvania, then out to Texas. And this is all on like secondary roads. And,
You didn't really have. Are you serious? You had.
Yeah, I was my first real job ever was a TP parent. So like these kids,
You're joking.
No, these kids lived on the wagon train. So there's like, we had about 60 kids and they were broken up into like 4 groups, and we had 4 huge teepees that they lived in. And we'd break them down and set them up. We'd move 15, 20 miles down the road, pack the whole camp up, and we'd do that like 4 days a week. And then we'd rest for 3 days. We had a cook, we had a wrangler, we had a farrier, we had 4 teachers. So the kids actually did school while they were on the wagon train. We had, teepee parents in each teepee. We had like a counselor, assistant wagon master, a wagon master. We had 2 operations people. We had two different truck drivers. I did it for 2 years. I went from being a TP parent to working in operations, so you basically like kind of running the camp, like directing things where to go and stuff like that. And then I was assistant wagon master for about 6 months before I was like, I'm done.
So that was the truth.
Well, it depends on what you mean.
So was that story real or was that fake?
Yeah, yeah, you can look it up. It's called Vision Quest.
I've never heard of that.
It was wild. It was like you were 5 days on, 2 days off, and it was, your 2 days were like 48 hours. And so it was the best first job to ever have, because I'll never have worked that hard. You're just 24/7 around the clock, dealing with kids and dealing with behaviors and helping them deal with their stuff, and and all the meanwhile you're like dealing with the weather and the horses and the mules and
what time of year was
fire
this?
ants. It was all year, man. It's like, so I joined the wagon train. They were in their winter camp down in Yeehaw Junction, Florida. So they have big property down there, and they would like winter there for like a month or two, and they'd fix up the wagons and rest up the horses and mules and uh, you know put fix everything up, and then you load everything up, and then you head north all through back roads of Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina.
Do you tell kids that you used to do this?
Uh, Sometimes I mean I'm not one to
Brag?
overshare, but
That's what?
well, yeah, it was a really cool. It was a really cool experience. It was by far like just the best first job. I mean, as far as like you know just getting overwhelmed with like dealing with all kinds of like hardships and things like that, and successes and failures, and it amplified everything.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, it was cool, man. All the kids were from a lot of kids from just inner city Philly and Pittsburgh. A lot of Pennsylvania kids, but it was the older crowd, so it was mostly like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and you quickly learn like no matter like what, once you get someone away and they're in a routine and they're living a good lifestyle, like you'd see kids come in looking rough and they'd leave like looking like amazing, like strong and on top of the world, so it was really cool.
Yeah, they were practicing my side of the mountain with you.
Yeah, I guess it was a good time. I mean, I probably wasn't for them most of the time, but I there wasn't many that didn't enjoy some piece of it. Either it was um, you know learning how to like do some different things, but then also like just that they learned so much about themselves, and overcoming obstacles, and like just each of them had a mule, and I broke up more than a few fights over somebody like talking badly or treating roughly somebody else's mule. Like you're not gonna. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like battles, like what? Why did this start? Well, he said my mule was slow, or something like that. Yeah.
I So you said you were on 5 days and then you were off like for the weekend. So
Yeah.
like, what did you like scavenge for food?
No, like you like so
Because you're saying a
like when
wagon.
I was a TP parent, we'd work 4 days on, 3 days off, and so you had different shifts going through, and there's once one shift was done, you load them up in vans and you drive them to the nearest town. They get hotel rooms,
Okay,
and then they're doing the laundry and getting some
okay,
food and relaxing for a little bit. And then you pick them back up and bring them back to the train.
right. You say wagon train, and I'm thinking of like pioneers, like
Mm.
hunting buffalo and
Yeah,
stuff.
no, we're like on the roads, so like
Okay,
it would be like you'd be when maybe 46 might be a little too busy, but like any of the roads around that, some like 31 or no, probably not 31, just like roads like that.
yeah,
We had a scout that would go and like map out the route for that day, and they'd talk to a landowner and say, hey, do you mind if we set up in your field? And they'd be like, sure, yeah. And so then they'd scout out a couple weeks in advance, so we'd get a big packet of like, okay, where are we at today? Okay, we're going up this road, that road. And we had a couple of wranglers, and we had what we called scouts. So they would be on the horses, and they'd go up and they'd shut down traffic in front and behind the train, and then you'd let traffic go through, and just kind of like
yeah.
if there's a construction zone, but it was like a moving construction zone. So
That is wild. I didn't know we still did that. Do we
yeah.
still do that?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. Most of the people that I knew, I mean, this was 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Yeah. So this is right out of college at 20, 22, 23, 22,
So then,
23.
so you do that. So then, at what point did you decide, hey, I'm going to be a school teacher?
Oh, okay. So I do that. Um, and then got to a point where I was like, this is just a little too much. There were some things that I wasn't real pleased with how it was running, but it was still great people, great things, great experience. A lot of great people, but a friend of mine, we decided we wanted to leave the train and look to see what was out west, because I'm headed out west, drove around out west. Like, I have some family in Denver area, so stopped in there and then headed south down through Taos, Mexico, and Arizona, and up into like Idaho and back down through Montana a little bit and Wyoming, and kind of made a big circle. Came back to Boulder and stayed there and started looking for a job. And then I found the experience working with those kids led to finding a place called the Cleo Wallace Center, which is a treatment center for kids with emotional disabilities. And so got a job there as a paraprofessional. So I worked in the school, worked in a classroom with a teacher, and basically I had a classroom of 15 kids, and so just provided support with the learning and things like that, and dealing with some of the behaviors and stuff like that.
What's a paraprofessional? Like,
basically a teacher's aide with a college degree.
Okay.
So it's just basically there would be a teacher. I'd be in there. I did a lot more of the behavior management in the classroom and just supported them with the instruction and things like that. And then did that for a couple of years. Started playing rugby then too. Had an opportunity to go down to New Zealand, lived down there for about 6 months. Came back and started doing that job again, and they had an opening for a teacher. And I had a moment like before I went, I kind of realized like it was just a teaching moment where I was working with a kid and he kind of figured something out, and I kind of saw the light go on, and I was like, oh man, that was really cool. Like I think I want to do this. That felt like really good. So I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do in that field, but that was kind of what solidified it for me. Was just Antonio getting this math problem down and being like, oh
right.
dang, I get this now. And I'm like, oh my god, he does get this.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like that was like, I don't know, I'm not an addict, nor have I done. But I would liken that to like the
Right.
first hit of something.
Right.
Like, oh no, I'm addicted now. This is going to be bad news, and it has been, right? So 30 some odd years later, I'm still addicted to it. But so there's an opening came open for a teaching position, and so I took that, and then went back and got my master's in special ed, and been doing that ever since.
So you went to New Zealand for rugby.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do any teaching there, or was it just kind of like?
No, it was just we're gonna go and just kind of an adventure.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast. It is an outstanding country. The whole thing, like we just had a great time. Got to see a lot of really cool stuff, and obviously, the people are great. I mean, beyond nice, welcoming in every way. Like the club that I played for in Boulder had a connection with a club down there, and so they were really hospitable, helped us find places to stay, and helped us find like part-time work when we needed it. And so it was a good time. Yeah.
So rugby is like football.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not.
No, it is. Yeah, it pretty much is. Just you can't throw the ball forward. That's about it. You just got to keep throwing it backwards, and so yeah.
It sounds difficult.
Yeah, it was really hard for a while to kind of get the hang of it, and then once you do, it's kind of like one of those pictures where you have to like kind of cross your eyes to see it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's a little cat with some
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get it. But yeah, so I did that, and then got married, had kids, then moved out here.
So you're not were you originally from Indiana then?
Mm-mm.
Where are you originally from?
New Jersey.
So you went from New Jersey to being a cattle farm person, not a cattle farm, a wagon train.
Yeah, get it right. Come on. Yeah, no. So I grew well. So I was born in Illinois, Peoria. Dad worked for uh, Bell Telephone, so the big Ma Bell. Like it used to be like one phone company,
Okay.
and that was it, right? And so he worked for that one. Then they were like, then I think the government said, "Yeah, this is too big."
Yeah.
So when they split it up, and so they sent him out to AT&T, which was in New Jersey. So we moved out to New Jersey when I was like 10, and then I lived there until through college, and my folks moved down to Florida after that, and it was when I was down there. That's when I saw the ad um, for Vision Quest, the wagon train. Yeah.
You did a lot of connect the dots. Like a lot of like here, then here, then here, then here.
I know that's a lot, but
So then what made you decide on Indiana? Like was there a specific thing?
yeah, my ex-wife is from here, from Columbus.
Okay.
That brought us here.
Oh.
Yeah, we loved living in Boulder, but after we had our second kid, it was like it was just impossible for like two teachers to kind of
Right.
afford that lifestyle. So we had such a great opportunity moving back here because there's just tons of family and we're close to everybody. So, and raising kids, it's once you get that second, you're man to man at that point. You need all the help you can get.
That's fair. So then did you come straight to CSA?
No, I was at Smith for a year, and then I was at East for a couple years, and then came here when we opened 2008.
What about it seemed like you wanted to come here?
Dude, I loved it. I mean, they're just like the people were, without a doubt, Reid and Ancliffe and Gaynor.
I thought you were talking about me for a
Larson.
second. I was like, I was not here.
No, you almost broke me. You almost like maybe I'm not that committed to this field. maybe I made a bad choice.
Maybe I've made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh man. No, you're one of the reasons why I love doing this job. And I know you struggled, and I know it was not easy, but you're like one of those guys that just makes it worthwhile.
I hated it.
I know you did.
But so then you came here because
No, it was so they had a philosophy to teaching that was like, hey, we're gonna try, and I really like something that it's gonna take a look at something with a different lens. Like, hey, I see what we're doing, but what if we tried it like this? And listen to what they had to say about what they were planning, and and then went through the meetings and talked to them about it. And the thing that I just loved was this is we're putting together a school where it's based on trust, respect, and responsibility, that we're going to give the kids more ownership of their learning, doing projects. They're going to decide what they need to learn. Hopefully we design projects at work and get them to where we need them to be as far as like state standards and all that stuff.
right.
But they're the ones that are going to say like, hey, in order to help these people out, we need to know how to do this, and we need to know how to do that, and we need you to teach us this and teach us that. So it's like, oh, okay, well, if you need to learn it, sure, like let's go through that. How how do we create X, Y, or Z? How do we wire a house? How do we how does electricity work? Things like
Yeah.
that. So, when you look at some of the great projects they had, like the New Orleans trip and things like that, where you really got to a point where they had to learn some real stuff, and they're and the projects have like real world consequences and help people in a real way. That's those are the powerful projects that kids talk about when we get together and with groups from way back, and they remember this project or that project. Yeah. So, I think those are the things that I really liked about it. It wasn't going to be just sitting around in a classroom, but it was going to be like, hey, you're going to work in a group, and you're going to learn how to talk to people, and you're going to have to like compromise and plan things out together, and not want to,
Yeah.
like kind of like you do in the real world.
Yeah.
You got to deal with people that don't always pull their weight, and you got to deal with people that maybe learn different than you, and like you have to like deal with people that are not the same as you. You can't just sit in a bubble and
Yeah.
get through school. You're kind of forcing you to get out of that. And I think the other thing that I realized later was the amount of like public speaking that you guys did, like presenting information and things like that. Like I didn't realize what a superpower would be until I saw it in my own kids, and they come back from college and they're like, we had this presentation. These guys all froze up, like they couldn't even speak, like they were afraid to say anything. Like what the
Yeah.
heck? They didn't know how to like. Nobody would say anything. Like I had to do everything. Yeah, like I don't think they realize like they have a real superpower as far as like dealing with people and like presenting information and like doing stuff like that. So
I do think the school for that aspect of it, like public speaking, because a lot of us, like my age and stuff, were trapped behind a screen.
yeah.
So then I think whenever you're actually face to face like this,
Mm-hmm.
I might not say what I'm thinking because you're right there. But then, right.
I'm so glad, because the thoughts that go through your head, I should not see the light of day ever.
But so it's like, whenever you actually like face people, it's like you're totally different. You've got that anxiety of what are they gonna do,
Yeah.
and whenever you got that screen in between you, it's like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do? Block me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's such value to that, especially now. Like if you're someone that can like interact with people in a positive
Yeah.
way, like that's such a value. So I don't know. Hopefully, some of these guys realize that. They start to realize that, I think, as they start moving through. But I think at first it's always tough to know.
I'm gonna be honest.
Go
I
on.
didn't think that you guys really taught me that until this very moment. Until you brought it up.
That's all right. I'm sure there's a lot of things that might have been said back in the day that just kind of went in one ear out the other. There's lessons I learn now. Like because you don't like learn when you're like learning. You learn
Yeah.
when you reflect, right? When you think
Yeah.
back on what happened, right? In the moment when I put my hand on the burner, I'm not learning in that moment. It's when I'm holding my hand later and looking at the burner and thinking about what the heck just happened.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, it's glowing red. It's probably hot, right? So who knows?
I wonder if that's its way of saying this isn't very light.
I don't know. We're talking. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. I'll be sitting in a room and all of a sudden the lights will go out, and I'll have to stand and go like this in order to get me to go again. I have to act like one of those little flappy signs.
Oh man. So you've been here since 2008 then?
Yeah.
How has it changed? In the sense of like the culture at the school, and in the sense of like the way you guys taught changed? Because just walking through here, it does seem different.
Mm-hmm.
But I've only walked in like the corridor in one room.
Yeah. Well, I would be interested. Like I'm always like I'm the frog in the water, right? So I don't really notice the temperature changing that much because it could be boiling right now, but I wouldn't know.
Right.
Because it's such a slow process.
Right.
But I don't know. I think in the beginning there was such a newness to it, and such a weird trailblazing, things like that. I think it's gotten to a point where we kind of have to find that again a little bit, I think. And I think we're always trying to like define that. Um, but uh, you know, I don't think it's changed too much. Like I think there's you know uh, it's hard to say because when we first started off, we were so small. You know, because we started off with just a ninth grade, right?
Right.
So that was a very different feel. You know, it really was kind of fun because we were kind of like building a school. You know,
Right.
and so there was that energy kind of like had a life of its own, which was a lot of fun. Um, which is kind of a new thing all the time, and you kind of had some wiggle room as far as like is this going to work or not work? Oh, who knows?
Right.
Let's give it a shot. And we had a lot of projects that uh, were outstanding. We had a lot of them that were complete duds. And it was. It was like probably like doing improv or something like that. Like
Right.
you feel great about sometimes get a big laugh, and other times you're like, oh man, I failed. That was not funny at all. But it's so it's the same thing. I think um, I guess I'd like to see people taking bigger shots sometimes, but I think there's it's a tough game now because back then there's a lot more teachers. Pre-COVID, like I feel like the teaching industry just it's been there's just not as many like um, there's just not as many people out there teaching. So it's like trying to get people that have a lot of experience under their belt in the door is tough. So we're doing a lot of teaching teachers too, and teaching how we do things and getting people to, we're doing some baby steps around projects and things like that. And people are responding great and they're trying hard, but there's not a lot of like experts coming in the door and giving us a new perspective on what we're doing, so to speak. So, um, but we still have some great young teachers, some really well trained and enthusiastic teachers and our facilitators. And
Why do you call them facilitators here
yeah,
and not teachers? Also.
well, because that's the idea around the project based learning, right? So you get a project, and I'm not teaching you um, things. I'm facilitating your learning, right? So you're going to tell me what you want to learn, right? And then I'll become that instructor. That I'll teach you what you need to know. I'll run that workshop so that you understand that piece of the puzzle that you need to make that project work. But I'm facilitating your learning. I think the big idea behind that was you're really facilitating the learning. The students are the ones that are doing the learning. They're not being taught at. They're learning, and they're pulling that information from you, and you're just facilitating that path.
So because of that, because of the students picking stuff, do you ever have to like go home and be like, oh, why would he ask that? Now I gotta figure out how to
Sure.
do
I mean,
that.
so so if you've got engaged students, right, they should be constantly throwing curveballs and like
Yeah.
yeah, and like so a well-designed project is going to do that. It's going to steer them in the right direction.
Right.
You know.
Right now.
Yeah. So I think that's the point, right? So
It's funny that you say well engaged. I'm just like, what's that?
yeah. Well, I mean, your 8 minutes were up. I didn't expect more than 8 minutes of concentration. Judging from
Yeah.
history,
No.
it's not good.
I'm doing great right now.
I know. I've been impressed. I'm like not once ever.
Don't. It's getting ready to phase out. Don't
I know.
worry.
Hey, it's been a good ride. I'm not. It's all gravy now. But no. So like you design the projects. What are the standards we need to hit? Right. What's an authentic community member? How do I get these things all aligned so that I can design a project that they're going to ask me like, okay, so what do we know? What do we need to know? We know that we got to do this and this and this. We need to know how to do X, Y, and Z. Boom, those are my standards that I'm going to have to teach them. and hopefully, and there's times where you have to go back and like, oh, we just got an update from the community member. They also need this because I need you guys also to ask me how to learn how to do this too.
Right.
So sometimes you have to add stuff in if they don't get it, or maybe the idea is that they are coming up with a representation of whatever project they're supposed to solve, and it's theirs, and it's not something that you tell them like you have to write a 2 to 3 page paper, this and that. No, like show me this, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing I think is the power of it, is when they truly have choice in how they represent their learning or represent the solution to whatever that project is.
Right. So whenever you guys would get community partners and stuff, would it just be like you guys handpicking people for that project, kind of?
Yeah, that, and if there's an authentic need out there and saying like, okay, they need this. Okay, that fits with what I want to do, or I have these standards, and like, who's out there that might have something, and reaching out to different people and being like, yeah, I have something that fits that perfectly. Like, we're redoing our loading dock, and we need to like identify square footage for X, Y, and Z. It'd be great to have your kids come out and do some calculations, and then come up with some suggestions for what we could put down, and maybe calculate how much the costs for that would be, and things like that. So that might be something like a simple like geometry. I didn't mean to say math.
You're losing me.
Yeah, I saw the glaze, eyes glaze over, I twitch, and the head shake. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So I will say one thing I did like about the school whenever I went to it was I did like that I felt like it made you have to be creative.
Uh-huh.
Like nothing, unless it was math.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because that one, the outcome's always the same. It doesn't matter how you do it.
Yeah.
But like everything else, like you're saying, these project-based learnings and stuff, like these projects and stuff with the community, it's like your outcome, my outcome, and your outcome were different because I worked with like 3 other different people than what you worked with.
Yeah.
And so I liked that it did show that each problem could have a different outcome and work.
Yeah, and I think I like that, but I also like the fact that students that may not have always been super great at book stuff or writing, but maybe they are super creative. Maybe maybe are super artistic. Maybe they can look at a problem and come up with a solution that no one else would have thought of. But you've got different ways, or maybe they're just a great talker. And they're not really good at the other stuff, but they'll get up there and they'll be the lead in that presentation, and they'll be dynamic, or they'll reach out to community partners and find X, Y, and Z from the community because they're really good at talking on the phone or going into places and meeting with people. So you got all these different ways that kids can use different strengths that may have been seen in the past as weaknesses, where hey, you won't ever sit down, or you won't ever shut up, or whatever, right? So now you're saying like, hey, great, let's use that. Like, why don't you be our liaison person, and you're going to make contacts with all these people. Okay, you're going to be the one that's like collecting all the stuff and building the thing that we're doing, and she's going to write the script for us for the thing, and he's going to create the PowerPoint, or the slideshow for the presentation, and you've got different people bringing different skills and finding ways to contribute in ways they may not have ever felt a way to contribute sitting 6 by 6 in desks facing forward and being quiet for 45 minutes.
Yeah. I do remember whenever, I think it was career day, we were doing something.
Yeah.
And you were like, we need to figure out how to get people to do stuff. I'm like, I know people that do stuff. And I like pulled out my phone and called someone. You're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I got 3 people. You're like, stop.
Why did I say stop?
You were like, you said dog on the phone. You said, hey dog, what are you doing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, you gotta stop.
Were you getting a tattoo artist for us?
I was getting like a welder.
Oh great. Yeah.
I didn't know any tattoo artists then.
Hmm. But you started getting tattoos then, though. You had some of the Star Wars. No,
No,
that was not until after.
I didn't start getting tattooed until I was 19. So
Really?
it was November. I remember because it was the day before Thanksgiving. So it was November 2016.
November.
I started getting tattooed,
Nice.
and I never looked back.
Yeah, I noticed. But you've had a whole Star Wars set, right? Like you had
Yeah,
pretty much like a bunch. Then you like got rid of those, or you would?
I still do. I covered it.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's just different now.
Yeah,
So it's like it was like all just mismatched, just
yeah,
everywhere. And then I flew to New York and had a guy cover them all.
yeah,
And New York was wild.
yeah. Where did you go in New York?
New York.
Yeah.
No, New York, New York.
No, yeah, I know.
Right. What are
But
you
where in
asking?
New York? Like,
Oh, it was
so
like
like I grew.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, I grew up in New Jersey. I know like a little bit. I've been there a few times.
I have no idea. It was like a tattoo convention.
Oh, okay.
There was about I think it was like 100 to 150 tattoo artists there.
Nice.
And I went with my cousin. We went and they had like a biblical amount of rain.
Yeah.
And so like like the subways flooded.
Oh, no
So like a whole
kidding.
bunch of like homeless people and like rats all came out. And so then our hotel was about a mile away, and so I would walk back and forth for 3 days getting tattooed.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was I think I did that 3 years ago. It was a cool experience.
Nice. How did you like New York? It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
I didn't see much of New York.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of a chair.
Yeah.
Um, it was for what I saw. It was nice. It was very rainy.
Yeah.
It was all right. I ate some like this one guy was giving me something, and it was like a mystery meat. I don't know what it was. It was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was though. It was a good experience. I had a lot of coffee shops there, and I thought it was gonna. My experience with like New York is TV shows,
Yeah.
so I thought it was gonna be like Friends or Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
Then it was neither.
No. No. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was a kid, um, uh, like we lived in New Jersey, and so you could get a train from like pretty close to where I lived, and you ride it into Newark, which is across the river, and then you get on a different train and you go right into New York City, and you can be out. And so like 15-year-olds, we would just
Right.
jump the trains and go in New York and run around for a while and come back.
We didn't do that here.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't advisable to do there. that wasn't the nice New York of nowadays. It's kind of like the old school. Crazy.
It wasn't great when we were there. I could hear rats.
You had all that rain, yeah.
Yeah, like I heard one rat and like was so fat it like rolled out. It couldn't even walk. It just was like rolling, and it was like the size of a football. And it was just like just doing all that, and I was like, "This is not the city for me."
No, it's a pretty interesting place. Like it's really cool. My sister lives in New Jersey, so we go back out all the time, and we'll usually go in and see it. And so I would suggest going back sometime when it's not so rainy.
Yeah, it
We're-
wasn't planned for it to be so rainy.
yeah,
Me and my girlfriend Elizabeth, we want to go there for like the Comic-Con and stuff, and I want to go there because I want to see the Cellar, which is it's a super famous comedy club.
yeah,
And so I want to go there and see that because like I said, I didn't see anything whenever I went.
yeah,
I ended up paying like $25 for like a single grilled cheese,
yeah.
and
Pretty expensive.
I was like, you've got me for like the next 3 days. You're lucky, but nothing else is around.
Yeah.
So I ended up spending like $150 on grilled cheese.
Were they good?
They said like the best around, and I've had better here. So
That's around there. Well, so like I think the thing is, it's amazing. Like
I will say also, just going with that, you realize how diverse America is when you go to a big city like that, because it's like
yeah,
there is so many like different cultures and stuff there, and it is
yeah,
wild.
isn't it?
And then you realize just how not diverse Indiana is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like I agree. Like there's like I know growing up, even in New Jersey, it was there's just a lot of different cultures and a lot of different things happening. You kind of exposed to a lot, but you know, um, I think as far as like Midwest, like Columbus is amazing. Like and I that was the one thing like when we were like moving back. I think my ex at the time, she was kind of like, oh, I don't want to move back to Columbus. I don't want to go to Indiana. But I'm like, it's like I've seen like a lot of Midwest towns, and like Columbus is like by far like it's got so much more than a lot of places. So I think as far as like um you know places outside of like big cities and things like
Yeah,
that, like it's a pretty cool place. um but like I remember like we were with my sister has like 4 kids, and I had uh my wife now, and our 4 kids together, and we're sitting in Newark, we're looking across it you look across the river right at like Manhattan, like all the big things, and there's just all the stuff, helicopters back and forth, boats and trains going in, and cars everywhere, and you're just like looking at all this transportation, all these things, and you just think about like that's an island, right?
yeah.
So how much toilet paper does that island need? Because you know how much it produces, zero, right? So how much toilet paper is moved into that island every single day, and then how much toothpaste, and then how much,
Probably not
how
enough.
many toast, how many grilled cheeses, you know, how much cheese is
Yeah.
but like you just gotta like you just imagine like
If they send enough cheese, you won't need as much toilet paper.
all that stuff has to get in there, like all that stuff has to be get it, and you just kind of like you start multiplying that by like every known thing you can think of, like how many of these are being driven into the city
Yeah.
every day. It's just crazy. It's just mind-blowing.
Right.
Because
That's I've never thought of it like that, but that is
there's
a lot.
there's like 10 million people there, right? So
Yeah.
it's like the whole 5 boroughs or whatever, but it's still amazing.
Right. All right. Let me figure out. I've got some other questions though
Oh,
also.
sorry.
No, you're good.
You got a tangent.
You're going on a rabbit hole of how much that place
I feel like,
impacts.
yeah, like, oh man, just imagine like, oh, how much hand sanitizer is
Probably not enough.
it? Yeah. Should be like hand
It should
sanitizer,
be like double what they've
like
got.
bathtubs on every corner.
That is the only place where I've seen someone literally sweeping the street.
Really?
Yeah, I saw someone literally with a broom and dustpan sweeping the streets.
Yeah. Well, it adds up, man. You gotta like, it's it's crazy.
So, what do you think of AI, like in the school place, also?
Oh, that's a interesting question. I love AI. I think AI is wonderful. I really hope it stays around for a long time.
that
Can I answer this? I mean, I don't want to like
you don't want to get like
I don't
terminated.
I don't want to get terminated.
I I think
Yeah, you should give the party line first, and then well,
I mean like I've told my girlfriend straight up, I'm not gonna be mean to it. I think that if you're mean to it, you're nuts.
mm,
Because I've seen the movies, and so like I'm never gonna message it and be like, "Hey, you're stupid" or something like that, because I think that's like playing with fire.
right, good, yes.
And so I think because it is smart though, because I it could either be like the movie Terminator, I think, or it could be like the video game Halo.
Mm.
where like AI ends up helping you
Mm,
massively and ends up becoming like your friend in the game.
mm.
And so in the fifth game, it does try to kill you, but
Well, it's gonna
that's
happen
like five.
eventually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like 5 games.
sure. Yeah.
So, I think it's smart enough to realize that we also have to do stuff on our own because it's gonna
Mm,
probably think that we're just ants
mm.
or something.
Well, I think it's just gonna like. I think it just has to realize at what point, like, what does it need us for? And
Yeah,
I would be interesting. It would be interesting to know, like, if it's already pushing us in a direction that we don't even realize it's doing because it knows what it actually needs us for and what it actually doesn't. You know,
right.
I would imagine that would happen if it was truly like I just don't know. Like, is it how AI is AI? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know it sounds. I'm using the definition
Well,
and
so like
the word in the definition.
my whole thing with it is like they say like they program it with like whoever program the whole thing like now is like whoever
Mhm.
programs it like can decide what it thinks forever, right?
Sure.
Like its opinions on stuff. Well, it's like if it's smart and everything, which it's supposed to be smart, it's
Hmm.
literally artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
If you're smart, your opinion changes.
Sure.
So like you could be raised a certain way and then you could learn something and your opinion could change on something.
Sure.
So like my thought is if it I guess this can go either way. Like if it's like at the five laws, like in iRobot, where it was like I'm not going to kill people, but then it's
Hmm.
like, but I'm going to uh, help them. Then it's
Hmm.
like that's not good.
No.
But then I think that it would end up realizing that it has to let us also work with it,
Mm.
kind of, because it's kind of I think it's like a give and take.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. If I
I
was
I wasn't trying to get your like whole like thought process on that. I was more like, what's your thought process on
like on
having
the here now, yeah.
kind of like having students use it?
I don't know. I think
That was what I thought. I wasn't.
I mean, yeah. It's that balance between like um using something to help generate ideas and then using something to just give you ideas. And so like I like it if it sparks curiosity and exploration, but if it's just all of the exploration you're going to do and that's where it stops, then I think that's not good. um I think people, you still have to be able to communicate and and put together your own complex ideas and be able to communicate them. So like I know a lot of times I'm just pushing teachers to say, like, just don't do it on the computer. Like, don't, and teachers are getting to be that way where they don't bother assigning homework or anything like that can easily be AI. They're going to give you a test and it's going to be a piece of paper with a question at the top and you're writing your answers and things like that, and in a classroom, because it's just too easy just to not
Yeah,
think and to not engage with the material and understanding. So I think that's what I'm worried about, is that just kind of like we did with having all the information at our fingertips. Now we've got not only information but really great answers and all that information put together and you know into your thoughts, like, now, well, what's really your thought and what's really not. um
right. So you're worried it's gonna kill like like it's gonna kill um like work ethic, but you're also scared it's gonna kill like your own thought process.
yeah, I think there's something to be said for, like, you know that that mental process of, like, and the work. You have to develop that, I don't know, mental stamina to, like think through a problem and come up with the solutions. And you know I think that's something that could go away for, like,
Yeah,
and I think that's something that, it's not, you can't necessarily, I mean, you probably can, AI every situation in your life, that's that's a little scary. Like you gotta like because there's going to be like interpersonal problems and things like that
Yeah.
that you have to like, man, I have to come up with a way to like communicate with this person better. It's
Yeah.
and that doesn't always mean like how do I communicate better with this
Yeah.
person? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked.
Well, so I know some people they use AI and they use it. Well, it'll just tell you what you want it to tell you, though. Is the problem?
Yeah.
It's like, is this person bullying me? It's like it is bullying you, but it's like that person's just
Right.
giving you like constructive criticism, which
Right.
there is a difference between constructive criticism and being rude.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know what
Yeah. I'm
that
not sure
difference
that.
is blurred.
I'm not sure that I've got enough evidence in my interactions with you to be able to say like, no, you definitely didn't. Straight. No, you were never a bully. You're always kind.
Oh man. So, what would you say you think what do you think CSA was going to be like in 10 years from now?
In 10 years from now,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, do you think, not to scare you, do you think like you'll still have a job in 10 years, or do you think like you'll be replaced with like a robot?
Oh, um,
I'm not trying to scare you with
no,
that.
it doesn't scare me. I'm close enough to retirement. I don't have to worry about it.
I'm like, it should scare you.
What?
You're like, it should scare you
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. uh, uh, no, I don't know. I think you know I, it's such a hard question. I just wonder how invasive AI will be in what we do, and if it is, it's just like when you got the internet, you had to figure out, it's going to give me about a lot of information really fast, but how I use that information and what we found with that was, a lot of what we did was sifting. Like you learn how to sift. You learn how to like, okay, that's crap. Like crap test. Remember the crap test?
Yeah.
So, is it
Yeah.
credible? Reliable, authoritative? I forget all the crap. But it's now it's the AI slop, right? So it's like, is this actually accurate? Like, how do I know? And so I think blind faith in it is always blind faith in anything is always problematic. Like it always can lead to problems. That's the definition of problematic. In case you weren't aware.
Right.
Yeah, thought I would point that out. But I don't know. In 10 years from now, this place, I hope we're still doing the same thing. I don't see people necessarily being replaced, especially people that support like real people.
Do you think the school will be bigger? Or do you think
No,
it thrives smaller?
yeah, well, that's the idea. I mean, project-based learning is a big part of it, but there's also this, small school feel and having a, culture based on trust, respect, and responsibility, and a culture that cares. And I think that's the thing. And I don't know if you remember it, but I feel like, around here, I can look at any kid and tell what kind of day he's having. And I know when it's time for me to say, "Hey, come on over here. What are you doing? Why do you look so funny today? What's the matter with your face?" You know, or it's a kid coming up to me and saying, "Hey, you should go talk to that one kid because something messed up happened. You should like, he might need to talk to like the counselor or something like that." Like, okay,
Right.
cool. Like, yeah, I mean, do you remember anything like that? Did you ever feel like things like that happen or like?
I had it happen to me.
Yeah.
Often.
Yeah. Hey, what's wrong with Reid's face? No, it's just that's his normal face, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that happen to me often. I do feel like we have that here. I think it is like a community based on like caring and stuff. Uh, I do think you don't really realize how many people care
Mm,
until you are out of it.
mhm.
Because I've messaged people before and been like, "Hey, why did you do this March 3rd of 2014 at like 4 p.m.?" I've like, I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah.
So like, that's not like the exact time, but like they
Right.
were like, "You seem like you're having a bad day. I was having a bad day too, and I wanted to be sure you were okay." I'm like, "Well, thank you." And
Yeah.
that would have been like 4 years ago or something,
Yeah.
and I would have been. He's like, "Wow, I really appreciate that. I didn't know
Mhm.
it showed." And they're like, "Yeah, you're not a good actor."
No, no,
Yeah,
yeah,
I wore it. I wear it
you
all.
wore it all right in your face. Just, mm. What's the matter, Reid?
Nothing.
That's stupid. Freaking hate it.
Yeah, that did make me mad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know in a lot of other countries also they do teaching
Hmm.
based on like the student.
Hmm.
So it's like if I'm not geared towards like I guess like in this hypothetical like math,
Sure.
I know they were like, let's make Reid do not construction because that wouldn't work. He's not good at math, but something
Yeah.
else like let's make him be a farmer. And then they're like, let's make like the kid that's good at math be like a rocket scientist. I don't know what this. I
Yeah.
don't,
No,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's kind of
I,
like C4.
sure, sure. I think that's, I think, I think there's value in that, but I really like for students to have say in their future,
So
and I like to present. I think it's better to have them. I think you should definitely know their strengths and weaknesses. I think you should definitely design things that they can be successful at, and put them on a course that you know can 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 be helpful to their to their strengths. But I think also that just ignoring the weaknesses and saying like, well, they're not good at math doesn't mean they're not going to be good at math. It doesn't mean like I was not good at math in high school, but I took a math class in college and did great. And it just like all of a sudden, like all the numbers were in the right place, and then things were much easier. And now it's one of the things I really enjoy helping kids with because it's kind of nice because there is a right answer to it. It's not just an opinion of somebody's writing
right,
style or skill, but and there's a science to that too, of course. But uh, you know, watching or just I don't know. I just feel like kids develop. They mature, and making a decision for them too early, I think, can be. mm, I mean, can also be problematic.
yeah, so
But
I had another teacher on this in the past, and she said she thought essentially like the same thing, like it'd be problematic and whatnot. But she also said a lot of people, if you tell them no too early, then that person, it's like if Albert Einstein stopped at just no, like we wouldn't have a light bulb.
mhm,
I think he did that. I might be thinking of the wrong
it doesn't
person.
matter. It's good.
Anyway, the analogy still stands.
Yeah.
But so she's like, I don't agree with it necessarily because of that. Because if you start telling people no and they just listen, that's boring.
Yep.
She didn't say that, but that was my takeaway from it. That was
Hmm.
my dumbed down version.
Say it again.
You're saying it because you want me to say it again, or are you
Yeah,
saying that?
because I spaced halfway through.
She's
I get my brain went off in a different
she said
direction.
she said let's see if I can do it. She said if you tell people no and everything, then and then they listen, you're like basically eliminating the people that probably accomplish something. If
Mm,
you just because you're getting rid of the challenge, and if you
yeah.
accomplish, and if everything comes easy, then and there's no challenge, then it's like then nothing really feels rewarding.
Mm, that's interesting. Yeah.
That was my takeaway. Also, I probably explained that totally different
It's
than
okay.
the first way.
It's still a cool way to do it. But yeah, I agree. I think you gotta give people chances to explore and find their passion. Um, and there's I mean there's value in working a job that pays the bills too. But it's there's just a lot of different types of opportunities that are coming around that I think that are gonna just different doors opening for kids these days in different places. So just interesting, you know.
What has been the most rewarding thing about this? Like being its teacher?
Oh, I mean, I thought you meant this podcast.
No,
I,
I'm still trying to figure that
it's
out.
usually that little high pitched laugh you do, like when you go.
That I
That's
wish
pretty
that
good.
would go
No, that should not go away. That's that should stay almost snarly.
Someone sent me a recording of my laugh, and
Yeah,
I started laughing at my laugh,
yeah.
and they recorded me laughing at my laugh for like 5 minutes. It was terrible.
That's awesome. That would be good. What'd you say?
What has been the most
I know, I
rewarding?
heard you. Um, I don't know. It's I think it's um I just enjoy uh you know the whole experience. Like I try to get in and out of every single classroom. I love learning all the time. I like watching our facilitators like challenge kids and seeing them take on those challenges and helping them find their way, and having those tough conversations with kids that are struggling, and then you know having that moment where you see them walking down to get their diploma and you think, thank God that one's gone. No, but and just being a part of that journey, with the kids and watching them grow is kind of the cool part.
Let me think. Has there ever been like a student that you're like, wow, that person's doing that? Like it shocked you completely?
like just different than what I thought.
Yeah, different than what you thought, being like, I didn't
Yeah,
see that.
there's tons, like tons and tons of, like, I mean, we had a kid that was calculus, this and that, and he went to work for a construction company and doing great, and had a kid, quiet kid who's now like out in DC working for senators and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like not like what you'd expect from someone from Columbus, but he's out doing all that. We've had tons of kids in the military and all the different branches doing stuff all around the world. You know, getting interviewed on a podcast by a kid I thought wouldn't make it out of geometry. But I don't know. There's just a lot. It's you know if the funny thing is, like, when I think about like you, you always had this fearlessness about you, about like interacting with people. Like I remember when you talk about like going and meeting bands and talking with them, just walking up to them and being like, "Hey, man, that was really cool. That was fun." And like I was always like, "You should be like doing this. You should be interviewing people." Like at the time, I was thinking like working for like a music magazine or a website, or you go and
Yeah.
interview bands and stuff like that. But I mean, like stand up comedy, no idea. That's fantastic. But it it didn't surprise me because A, you're funny, and B, you're fearless, and you do some amazing things like that. So that's I stand up. I didn't think there'd be a stand up comedy, but yeah. So do kids do all amazing things all the time. It's really cool.
Well, thank you for that. I didn't mean that as something for me.
Now you did that just so I would talk about you. I
Yeah.
know. You always look at me. Look at me. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
What you said ECA a little while ago, if you remember that. You remember that?
ECA.
Yeah, you said you brought up stuff for the ECA, like matching up courses for the ECAs.
Okay.
It was a while back.
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on those?
On like standardized tests.
Yes.
Not a huge fan.
Why?
Because I feel like it's I think that there's other, like, it judges the student's ability to express their understanding of a subject in a very singular way. It's really, that's it. And it's something where, like, somebody's abilities can really affect their ability to do well on that test. So in that respect, like, I'm not a big fan, but I get it. Like, there has to be accountability for teachers across a large swath of schools and things like that. Like, how do we know that there's, you know kids are learning what they need to learn to be successful at the next level? So
Right.
it's like, it's a catch 22. You're definitely going to be hurting some kids by making them go through that process, but you definitely need to do something to try and hold schools and districts accountable to making sure that they're doing the job that they need to do. So um, yeah, I mean, I'm torn on it.
So for me, it still bothers me.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like
So it was like,
it's like, hey, come on in, Reid. We're gonna kick you in the nuts for about an hour and a half, and then send you on your way.
right. And so it was like it's still like I still have dreams about doing it. It's like that was 10 years ago.
God, that sucks.
And so it's like it still bothers me and I still have like a lot of like anxiety and stuff about it.
Yeah,
And then like I've talked to my therapist about it. She's like that sounds like a lot. I'm like, it
yeah,
is. Thank you for
yeah,
noticing.
yeah. I mean, shoot, dude. I've been, like, I've had things that, like, I'll do something, or something will happen at school and it'll really start bugging me, and I've kind of, like, in my head, I'm just talking bandwidth. I'm like, why am I burning up bandwidth on this thing? Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night, think about it. It's not worth the bandwidth, man. You got to focus on the positive. That's what I keep telling myself when I get those things, because, or you just, something will come up from the past and be like, oh, that was such a stupid thing to say. Or, oh, why did I do that? I really let that person down. It's just like, don't waste the bandwidth. There's too much good happening. The next,
Right.
because it's like something we say in, like, in rugby and in sports and stuff like that. It's like, what's the most important play? It's the next play, right? Because that one's done. We can't, we can learn from it, but we got to apply it to the next play. That's the thing we got to focus on, is what's coming next. And we got to reflect, we got to learn, but we also have to, like, stay, use our bandwidth on what's important.
Right.
You know, that's my thoughts.
I definitely have issues still with like not dwelling
Mm-hmm. Mm,
and stuff. And I think it's just a human thing.
absolutely.
And so then the my problem is that I know I don't seem like it. Like I'm a perfectionist if it's like my thing.
Oh yeah,
And then if it's like someone else's thing, I'm like, you want it like right here?
yeah,
Okay, and I'll like
yeah,
drop it there and like walk away. And I'm like, why'd you do it? I'm like, I said put it there.
yeah,
But if it's my thing, it's like I gotta put it down gently.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like it's weird because it was like here, whenever it was like a group thing, it was like I was kind of like that. It was like I don't.
Yeah.
It was like someone else is gonna. I'm gonna drop this, and someone else is gonna be like, and put it where it's supposed to go. And then
Mm.
whenever it was my thing, like for this, like this test type in this hypothetical, it's like I have to be like graceful and put it together perfectly and everything. And I have a hard time of not putting um, my own current self worth and self esteem in that past thing that ended in a failure,
Uh,
which it was a failure because I did not pass. So,
yeah, but it was also not a fair assessment for you.
right. And so then,
And we can, and that's that's where we come in to try and give accommodations, modifications that can kind of help that. But at the end of the day, it's still something that trauma didn't start probably in high school. It probably started.
Yeah, that started a long time ago.
Yeah. And
So
and that's tough when especially when it happens younger. Like, it's hard to ever look on anything like it again in
yeah,
any kind of positive way. So yeah, that's a shame, man.
I'm not doing all this so I can cry on your shoulder.
Oh damn! I was gonna try and push it too, and I was getting all ready. Come on, Reid, just let it loose.
Oh man. So, is there anything that you would want to say to someone that was thinking about being a teacher, or
Yeah,
CSA in particular?
sure. I just say, I mean, the thing that that's number one is, um, I mean, you gotta have the passion for it. You gotta love it, because it's gonna grind. It's a lot of work. I mean, project based learning is a lot of work up front, and really putting together projects and doing that. It's worth it, but it is a lot of work. So you gotta be ready for that. Um, but it's rewarding. Our group of teachers is fantastic. Like, everybody supports everybody. It's a small group, and we don't have like a teacher lounge per se, or we don't have individual rooms. We have that cockpit where all the teachers' desks are, and we can talk back and forth and support each other. And it's I think for people getting into it, like, get trained, do it the right way, you know um, make sure you love it, and and be ready to work. And I think the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. It's just like anything in life. You put in the effort, and it's going to be worth it. um, and that's kind of like with anything, right? So, um, yeah, I guess that's it. Be passionate, work hard, have fun.
Right. Do you want to do like a Steve from Blue's Clues also, and like look at the camera and be like, say something nice, like your former students?
To my former
Yeah.
students,
Do you want to like
say
just like
something
look
nice.
at it,
I'm
like zoom in the camera on you?
Oh, like, so you do this post, you like zoom in post or something
Yeah.
like
I'll
that.
just yeah.
Okay.
You want to do
So do
that?
I have to do that now?
If you want to, I don't care.
Can I get some earwax on my finger and then do
Yeah.
it? um, Gosh, I don't know what I would say to those guys. I think I'd say something like, "House Leo rules." No. um, we're proud of all you guys. Period.
All right.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what to say. It's just,
no, it was just
I think
seeing what you
we're
wanted to
proud of
say.
all those guys that have gone out there and been adults and working and doing the hard stuff. And that's what we tried to tell you is going to be tough. And it is, but it's worth it. And I think, like we just said, be passionate, work hard, and have fun.
Right. Well, I think that's pretty fair. I want to say this before we end it,
Don't
and
don't
that
say don't you say anything nice. Don't
I don't want to ruin it.
don't you do it.
I would want to say this.
Oh shit.
I want to say this.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I'm not gonna look at you though.
I don't want you to look.
Okay.
Don't
So
look at me.
thank you for everything that you did on my behalf, because I definitely would not have made it if you wouldn't have done that. And I know my mom definitely thanks you,
Mm.
because I definitely would not have made it. And we both thought like we both thought I literally was not going to make it, both like literally or figuratively. And it's really appreciated that you had that much to do in my life, even though it's not, it like, it means more than what I can probably say. I suck at this. Thank you is what I'm trying to say for everything that you do and did. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Mr. Morrill, everybody.